Thank you, everybody, and welcome to the second regular monthly meeting of the Mayor and Council being held in Borough Hall, Monday, November 28th, 2022, starting at 6:32. Missy, could you please call the roll?
Mayor Nunziato.
Here.
Councilman Goldsack.
Here.
Councilman Leahy.
Here.
Councilman Coakley.
Here.
Councilman McGowan.
Present.
Councilman Big Roberson.
Here.
Councilman Guzman.
Here.
Thank you. If you're willing and able, could you please stand for the salute to the flag?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Missy?
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law, Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, notice of this meeting was transmitted to the Record and Herald News and filed with the Borough Clerk on December 13th and 30th, 2021, and is posted on the bulletin board outside of Borough Hall.
Thank you, Missy. At this time, we have no presentations. Missy, the changes to the proposed agenda?
Yes, on page 2, we'll be adding item C under President of the Council. Resolution number 225, request for an extension from NJDOT for the Station Square project. Also on page 2, under police consent, a correction to the raffle license for the it's a merchandise, not 50/50. And on page 6, under mayoral appointments, we'll be adding the appointment of Vincent Calabrese as school traffic guard.
Can you repeat that last one, Missy, please?
Under mayor's appointments, we'll be adding Vincent Calabrese as a school traffic guard.
Thank you. Anybody from the council have any other changes?
No, sir.
Seeing none, we're going to open it now for the hearing of citizens. I'm sorry, motion.
Motion.
Motion by Council President. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman McGowan. Any questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, may I have a roll?
Councilman Goldsack?
Yes.
Councilman Leahy?
Yes.
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Thank you. Now we'll open up for the hearing of citizens. Anybody wishing to speak, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address, and please keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. Thank you. Sir? It's
I'm not sure if you heard that. Jim Weigel, 34 West Pierpont. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. Can you please explain, give a how or why the decision was made to shut down the comedy show at the Williams Center a few weeks ago?
Thank you, sir. We do not comment until after everybody else comes to speak, and then we comment.
Will I be able to come up with a follow-up or no? Well, then you could add this to it. Will Antifa continue to be the outsourced censor for the Nunziato administration? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else from the public wishing to speak? I'm telling you, Mrs. Rowe, I'll get you a really good chair if you just start sitting up front.
Thanks for the suggestion, Mayor. Maybe what I need is one of those motorized chairs, right?
You're not even ready for that. Come on.
No, I don't ever want to reach that point. But anyway, good evening, everybody. Adam Zura, 94 Vreeland. Mayor, I believe the council needs to clear away the smoke and mirrors that seems to be surrounding the Claris Tunnel Transit Village project. We've had successive newsletters in the last couple of months that have actually have the borough using about $210,000 in state grants to repair the tunnel within the next 3 weeks, because there was a mention in there would be done before winter. So that's where the 3 weeks comes from. But we've also seen the council authorize $225,000 in payments for architectural and consulting fees. And that number represents about 77% of the project's total estimated cost for that project, according to a report that was provided by the Neglia operation. And so neither accounting seems to make any sort of sense. And the figures that don't add up can't be in the best interest of the borough. So I think we really need to flesh all this information out and let people know what's actually going on, because I'm sure it was unintentional, but the way at least the newsletters are written, it tends to be very misleading, because I don't think we're spending $210,000 to power clean, power wash the tunnel or whatever's going to be done there. So, but anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Zora. Anybody else from the public wishing to speak?
Hey, I'm Brad Cloza, and I live in Rutherford, Block 34, Lot 32.
We just need your address, sir. But thank you.
I know my address that way to make my point, actually. In the last couple of weeks,
We still need the address, I'm sorry.
if you wish, 95 West Passaic Ave.
Thank you.
In the last couple of weeks, since the last meeting, as a lot of you probably know, the founder of the Proud Boys, Gavin McInnes, took our live stream council meeting and played it on his website and video channel, and stood in front of it and took pot shots at you, at the council members, and anyone who got up and spoke at the meeting against what he thinks is right. All those people read their address into the microphone before they spoke. I wasn't personally afraid that people were going to actually come to Rutherford and come to our homes, but not long after that happened, the events in Colorado Springs proved that there's no shortage of unhinged, angry white men who will read and see things on the internet and then go act in outrageous ways. And so I would like you all to consider, I'm sure there's a rule why we have to read our address, and I don't think we should stop live streaming on YouTube, because I think that's a great thing for us to do for the community. But if there's some way for us not to read our addresses in the live stream, or to not have it be part of the permanent recording, I think everyone would feel a little bit safer if there's some other way to note our address when we come up to speak. That's all.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Anybody else from the public wishing to speak?
Hi, Linda Merrill, 95 West Passaic. I didn't even know what lot and block number we were until just now. You know, somebody calls you a locust, you've got to respond, right? From the Southern Poverty Law Center website, Gavin McInnes wrote that he despised white liberals who subscribe to a Marxist myth of ubiquitous equality and who refuse to acknowledge any disparities between people of different races. McInnes insisted he held out hope for the future of American race relations when we're all forced to live side by side and quickly realize we're incompatible. He published an article titled "Transphobia is Perfectly Natural" that prompted his then employer to fire him. "We're all transphobic," he says. "We see there are no old trannies. They die of drug overdoses and suicide way before they're 40. And nobody notices because nobody knows them. They are mentally ill gays who need help, and that doesn't include being maimed by physicians." McInnes has also referred to transgender people as gender the N-word and stupid lunatics. In 2018, he encouraged a crowd to get back to the era where you could insult someone's religion, you could insult their ethnicity, you could insult everything about them. McInnes instructed those who failed to accept his bigotry to, quote, get the fuck off the road. I attended the town forum at the Williams Center, where Chuck Olivo claimed not to know who the Proud Boys were, or of McGinnis's association with them, as a founder of the group, as the founder of the group. During the meeting, a woman pulled out her phone and advised Chuck that she had just Googled McGinnis's name, and the Proud Boys was clearly and quickly returned in the results. And for those who might not have done that Google search themselves, the Proud Boys started as a male-only drinking club and evolved as an organization with the goal of desensitizing Americans to political violence. They espouse white male supremacy, violence, and intimidation as a means of control, which most recently culminated with the January 6, 2021 insurrection and their insistence that it was legitimate political discourse. The Proud Boys have created an outline for domestic extremism. Now we have the same person coming to us under the guise of comedy and painting himself as a victim when protesters threaten to demonstrate against the hateful messages he has spent his entire adult life propagating. He continues to defend the Proud Boys both in court and in the media. During the town hall, Mr. Olivo claims he wasn't aware that he was inviting a firestorm to a small town with limited resources to defend itself. He said he made the decision with very little notice, after which one gentleman in the audience suggested that as a business person, he should know that any urgent proposal requiring an immediate decision is probably not a good idea. Chuck also asked attendees to define where they would draw the line with regards to controversial artists. He was told by several people that he needs to hire a professional manager, that he should consult with professional theater managers, that he needs help, and that it is not wise for him to continue making decisions without the proper advice from professionals. Beyond the speculation about what kind of show or who the performers are or what their agendas are, there is a question of competence. As part of the planning process for local school events, even our PTA moms know to advise the police about socials and large events so that they have some awareness of extra traffic and people in the area. Chuck is running a performing arts center that does not have its own security. Why didn't he notify the police, leaving them to find out from citizens, online information, and other authorities? It seems like he hoped that no one would find out, but why? What about deciding on the fly without consulting anyone or even vetting the performers? What about any consideration for people who don't want the maker of 10 Things I Hate About Jews to be given a stage in the center of their town? He said at his town hall that he didn't know who they were.
I'm sorry, Lena, you're at 5, but I'll give you another minute.
Thank you, I'll hurry. It seems impossible to believe, but if true, doesn't this speak to competence? And after finding out what he had done and causing disruption and embarrassment for himself and others, never offered any kind of an apology or explanation that makes sense. He's indicated in writing and verbally that he intends to pursue more of the same. Is that the civic engagement we are looking for, the envelope we want to push? You cannot claim to value your community and everyone in it and then provide a stage to the person who said and did the things that I recited earlier. I assume that to be as successful as he is, Chuck must have exercised restraint at some point over the years to achieve the goodwill and success that he has. What changed that he would behave in such an unhinged way? I'm addressing you guys now. Please don't be conned into thinking this is about free speech and that you have no control over keeping this person from doing whatever the hell he wants. It's about competence and dangerous incompetence that threatens future disruption, hate speech, and intimidation of our citizens, and safety concerns for Rutherford. There's plenty of evidence about the violence that occurs wherever Gavin McGinnis and his followers congregate. Please consult with your attorneys and find a way to contain this threat. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, I'm going to close it to the public and now open it up to the council for any comments. Council President.
Thank you, Mayor. Brad and Lena, to your point about the rule.
Actually, I'm sorry. Can I have the attorney speak first?
You can absolutely do that. Not a problem.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the public, my name is Robert Ferraro. I'm a borough attorney. I'm going to respond to Mr. I'm going to respond to Mr. Weigel, is it? And perhaps to some of you folks who've presented your discussion about the Williams Center. I just want you to know that, first of all, we've received notice that we're going to be sued by McGinnis for whatever he wants to sue us for, and that's his prerogative, and we'll defend our actions. So we're not going to comment publicly because the matter is, because anything we say here will show up in the lawsuit and it'll be misquoted or misspinned and used somehow to assert a proposition for which it was never intended. I can tell you this, that no member of this board, Mr. Weigel, no member of this board shut down the Proud Boys event, that the facts of those will show that it was, and I think Mr. Olivo has already stated in his town hall that he recognized that there was a security interest and that he shut the matter down. So we will not, the Nunziato administration and the members of this board will not condone censorship from the right, from the left, from the middle, from the third quarter or the second quarter, that we understand what our obligations are with regard to free speech. Mr. Olivo, I believe, understands the sentiment of the community. That's up to him about what type of events the community would like to see and hear, and that's up to him. I mean, I'm sure he wants the support of the community in terms of who will show up for what events. About any of the other matters that are being discussed about it, we're going to refrain discussion, but I just want to let you know that that's the reason why we're not going to make public comment further about this, because we are going to litigate this matter fully in the proper forum. So thank you.
Thank you, Bo. Would anybody on the council like to comment to any, go ahead, sir?
Just a question for council, just regarding the question related to having or being required to state your address at the microphone. Is that, do we know if that's based in simply Robert's rules? Is that borough code? Is that New Jersey state law? Is there, I don't want to just gloss over that.
I'm going to research that because I understand the concern and perhaps there's another way to do it.
Okay.
So.
Thank you. And I just have one more item for Mr. Zor related to the tunnel. So, Mr. Zor, to your question, so we did receive a grant related to Claris Tunnel. Obviously, this has been an item that Mayor Nunziato and a couple of my colleagues up here have wanted to do over the past couple of years because that tunnel is underutilized, badly lit, but it could be an important part of our downtown as it offers a pathway from the KIPP garage directly to Park Avenue. So we did receive a grant, and in taking a look at what could possibly be done there, we decided to add our own capital funds. Mr. Kakoleski, I don't believe we have those numbers in front of us here, but we'll be able to offer them to you at our next meeting, or I'm sure you come into Borough Hall often enough to be able to have that conversation. But the grant itself is not being used specifically, or the entirety of the grant is not being used specifically on the tunnel. There's wayfinding signage, there's bike racks, there's other pieces there's other dollars that we're spending related to the transit village aspect of the grant that we were given. So that's why you're seeing those different sets of numbers there.
Anybody else from the council wishing to speak? Seeing none, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, Bo. I'm not going to say it because Missy just gave me a look. So. We're going to move on now. Council President.
Thank you, Mayor. First up, we have the approval of the regular meeting minutes of November 14th, 2022. Motion.
Motion by Council President. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman McGowan. Any questions or comments by the council? Seeing none, may I have a roll call?
Councilman Goldsack?
Yes.
Councilman Leahy?
Yes.
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we have the approval of the closed meeting minutes of November 14th, 2022. Motion.
Motion by Council President, may I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman, was it you, Mr. Guzman? Guzman. Yes. Councilman Guzman. Any questions or comments by the council? Seeing none, may I have a roll?
Councilman Goldsack?
Yes.
Councilman Leahy?
Yes.
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilman?
Thank you, Mayor. Next, I have resolution number 225. This is a resolution authorizing an extension request for the Claris Tunnel project, Rutherford Borough Station Square, to the Department of Transportation. Motion.
Motion by Council President, may I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman. Any questions or comments by the council? Seeing none, may I have a roll call?
Councilman Goldsack?
Yes.
Councilman Leahy?
Yes.
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Thank you. Consent agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. All items authorized to be consent by the council will be enacted by one motion. These items are routine in nature. Motion.
Motion by Council President, may I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Roberson. Any questions or comments by the council? Seeing none, may I have a roll call?
Councilman Goldsack?
Yes.
Councilman Leahy?
Yes.
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Thank you. We're going to move on to committee reports. Councilman McGowan?
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing for finance tonight, but I do just want to highlight the great work of our municipal alliance. Thanks Sergeant Ziegler for her outstanding work and leadership. They are continuing to move forward with the DMHAS Youth Leadership Grant. We're sending 2 students and 2 parents to the Elks Path to Leadership, which is a one-day program in February for 8th graders. We have 2 students from RHS who are going to the Peer Leadership Weekend, which is in February. They're doing a vaping presentation in March, and that'll be done in collaboration with the Municipal Alliance, the Elks, and the Rutherford Police Department. They're also co-sponsoring the 55 KIP Senior Prom with the Interact Club from the high school in March. And they're also co-sponsoring with the Health Department from a preventative aspect specific to working with the seniors. And I think it's also great to highlight the fact that they're also working with Lincoln School in grade 2 with a program called Footprints for Life and the Center for Alcohol, and really just digging in and working so closely with our school system. I really want to thank all of the members of the Municipal Alliance, the outstanding work that they do. So many of our children and adults in this community benefit immensely from their hard work, and clearly the partnership between our Rutherford Police Department, EMS, Fire, Health Department, and all of you sitting at this dais. So thank you so much, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. We're going to move on to police now. Councilman Leahy?
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing to report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Guzman.
Thank you very much, Mayor. First up, I'd like to move resolution number 223, authorizing the execution of shared services agreement between the county and East Rutherford and the borough for the maintenance and upkeep of Carlton Hill Greenway Park. Motion.
Motion by Councilman Guzman.
Second?
Second by Councilwoman McGowan. Any questions or comments by the council? Seeing none, we have a roll call.
Councilman Goldsack?
Yes.
Councilman Leahy?
Yes.
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Thank you. Anything else, sir?
Mayor, I have nothing new to report. Thank you.
Thank you. Fire, Councilman Coakley.
Thank you, sir. Nothing to report with the department this evening. However, I just want to give another quick shout out to the members of the Rutherford Arts Committee, specifically Eddie Naruki and Paul Frazier and the like, for putting together the Rutherford Rocks float alongside Blue Foundry this weekend. Those kids were absolutely amazing to watch and listen to, especially as a classic rock fan myself. So kudos to all involved, and congratulations to the boys and girls that absolutely rocked it Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you. Well stated, sir. Recreation, Council President. Sorry, Maria, I didn't do it on purpose.
Very funny. So I just want to congratulate our entire Borough Hall for putting on such an incredible holiday parade. I think it gets better and better every single year. There were so many people out, and it was just a great collaboration among all our departments. And it's just an event that people are going to look forward to going to every year. So congratulations to everyone involved. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, and my only recommendation to that is that you and Councilman Guzman make some better jokes next year, that's all.
Well, you did say you didn't want to hear any politicians speaking. You did say that.
Thank you very much. Council President.
Got to get the Barbara Bennett joke book. That does the trick. Thank you, Mayor. First, we have resolution number 224. This is award of contract to Tennis Dynamics in an amount not to exceed $19,000. Motion.
Motion by Council President, may I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman McGowan. Any questions or comments by the council? Or any bad jokes, whatever? Seeing none, have a roll call.
Councilman Goldstein?
Yes.
Councilman Leahy?
Yes.
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Robertson?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to echo my colleague, Councilwoman Beck Roberson's comments. It was a fantastic event. It really does speak to all that Rutherford is about as a community. Special shout out to the Recreation Department. I know they are working their tails off getting basketball put together, and then to have to help organize that event. It truly is a special day for the entire borough. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Again, everybody did a great job. And, I can't say anything. It was the best time we ever had. It's a great day.
Mayor, forgive me for being out of order, but.
No, actually, I was out of order, so you're good.
Councilman Guzman and I were just talking about the fact that we also want to acknowledge the incredible work of the Chamber of Commerce and how they work seamlessly with the borough. And to your point, it was definitely I don't ever remember such a turnout that we had. And the outstanding work by Dan Meredith and by Jenna Salisi in consortium with our rec department. It was stellar. It was a great day. Great day for Rutherford to come together and to celebrate what we do best. So
Thank
thank
you.
you, Mayor.
I would also like to thank our Public Information Officer and Anthony Bachman. I witnessed all their craziness in my office, routing, rewriting, and Bob probably sitting there going like, what did I get myself into? So I would like to, I appreciate my BA, my POI, is it PIO or POI? I never get that right. And our traffic officer, or whatever, I'm not sure his title either, but the three of them did a great job. It was, since I've been involved since 2013, it was probably the best event we ever ran. So I appreciate everybody. For my appointments tonight, I'd like to appoint Vincent Calabrese, school traffic guard, effective November 29th, 2022, in accordance with the rules and regulations of the New Jersey Civil Service Commission. I'd ask for council consent.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Malay. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Guzman. Oh,
Goldsack.
Councilman Coker. I try to keep my face here because Missy yells at me whenever I. Council President. Any questions or comments by the council? Seeing none, may I have a roll call?
Councilman Goldstein?
Yes.
Councilman Leahy?
Yes.
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Robertson?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. I will make one quick statement, which will not address anything that, regarding the lawsuits or anything. I've been involved again since 2013. The amount of hate mail that I've received, the council's received, the police chief's received, has been nothing, and it's actually international, which is really impressive, has been nothing but disappointing. We're all trying to work together and build a better world, and this is just off the rails on both sides. I'm sorry, it's just off the rails. So I will leave it at that, and I can assure everybody that we're never short of resources. Our police chief is very good at his job, coordinating with the state and county, so don't ever worry about security for our community. Thank you. I'd also like to appoint the attached list for the basketball seasonal staff, and I ask for council consent.
Motion.
Motion by Council President, may I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman McGowan. Any questions or comments by the council? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call.
Councilman Goldsack?
Yes.
Councilman Malahey?
Yes.
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes?
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Okay. And as this is the second meeting of the month, we have the second hearing of citizens to agenda items only. Anybody wishing to address agenda items only, please feel free to come up to the microphone, state your address and name, and please keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. Thank you. Seeing none, I'm going to close it to the public and now open up for council for any comments. Seeing none, I'm going to close it. We do have ordinances. Ordinance on first read regarding rent control. Councilman Coakley.
Thank you, sir. The ordinance is basically just an extension of the current ordinance in place. Missy, could you read the ordinance by title only, please?
An ordinance extending Chapter 83A entitled Rent Control of the Code of the Borough of Rutherford for 2 years from January 1, 2023 through December 31st, 2024.
Thank you. Make a motion to move the ordinance be passed on first reading and advertised according to law.
I have a motion by Councilman Coakley. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Guzman. I'll now open it for discussion. Any questions or comments?
Just an additional comment, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's essentially, for those of you who aren't aware, further extending protections offered by our Rent Control Board. If anyone ever has any questions about it, there's a wonderful team. You can feel free to reach out to them with complaints or questions, anything about your current situation if you are a renter within our borough. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other comments? Seeing none, I'm going to close it and ask for a motion. Council consent?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman, Council President.
We're on roll call.
Sorry, roll call.
Councilman Goldsack?
Yes.
Councilman Malahey?
Yes.
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes?
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Thank you. We're going to move on to second read. Councilman Malay?
Thank you, Mayor. First up, I'd like to establish a handicap space on East Passaic Avenue. I'd like to ask Missy to read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance to amend and revise Chapter 126, Vehicles and Traffic of the Borough Code of the Borough of Rutherford.
Thank you. I make a motion to move that the ordinance be passed on second reading and advertised according.
I have a motion by Councilman Malay. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Roberson. I'll open it now to the public for public comment. If anyone wants to speak, please step up to the microphone. Keep your comments to 5 minutes or less, and please state your name and address. Seeing none, I'm going to close it to the public. Council discussion, anyone? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call.
Councilman Goldsack?
Yes.
Councilman Malahey?
Yes.
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes?
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you. Next ordinance on second reading is an ordinance to amend the Police Department Table of Organization. I'd like to ask that Missy read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance to amend and revise Chapter 76, Police Department of the Borough Code of the Borough of Rutherford.
Thank you. I make a motion that the ordinance be passed on second reading according to law.
We have a motion by Councilman Malay. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Council President. We're now going to open up for public hearing. If anyone has any questions or comments on this matter, please step up, state your name, and keep your comments to 5 minutes or less, as well as your address. Seeing none, I'm going to close to the public and open for council for any council comment. Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call.
Councilman Goldsack?
Yes.
Councilman Malahey?
Yes.
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Also on second reading, have an ordinance amending the borough vacation schedule to include deputy.
An ordinance to amend and revise Chapter 70 Personnel Policies and Practices of the Borough Code of the Borough of Rutherford.
Thank you. I make a motion to move the ordinance be passed on second reading according to law.
I have a motion by Councilman Lay. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Council President. Any questions or, I'm sorry, we'll now open up to the public for any comments. Please step up to the microphone, state your name, address, and keep your comments at 5 minutes or less. Seeing none, I will now close to the public and open up for the council. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, may I have a roll call?
Councilman Goldtag?
Yes.
Councilman Leahy?
Yes.
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Councilman?
Thank you. Last but not least, I've got an ordinance amending the salary ordinance to include deputy police chief. I'd like to ask the clerk, Missy, to read the ordinance by title only.
In order to amend and supplement an ordinance entitled, an ordinance regulating the employment, tenure, and discharge of certain officers and employees of the Borough of Rutherford under the provisions of the Civil Service Act of New Jersey, number 3621-22, adopted on October 11, 2022.
Thank you. I make a motion to move that the ordinance be passed on second reading and advertised according to law.
Motion by Councilman Lay. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Council President. Anyone from the public wishing to speak now can please step up to the microphone, keep your comments to 5 minutes or less, and please state your name and address. Anyone wishing to speak? Seeing none? Anybody from the council wishing to speak? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, Missy?
Councilman Goldtag?
Yes.
Councilman Leahy?
Yes.
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Thank you all. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. We now have a resolution in closed session. Discuss, Missy?
Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act requires that a public body adopt a resolution at an open meeting before going into a closed session to discuss a matter that excludes the public as permitted under Section 7B. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council will hold a closed meeting at 7:09 p.m. on November 28, 2022 in Borough Hall to discuss the following matters: litigation, legal advice, contract negotiation, Native Center Development, LLC.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to go.
Motion.
Motion by Council President. May I have a second?
Second?
Second. All those?
Councilman Goldtag? Yes. Councilman Leahy?
Yes.
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson?
Yeah.
Councilman Guzman?
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
planning on going back to the city, but if I was working in Manhattan, it'd be very difficult to meet people. Like, I know was people.
Did you go in a couple times, like where?
I have since, but now they haven't said anything, so it's just, okay, it's remote right now. Which is, it helps in a lot of ways. I get to come to things. Like with the traffic, I can come every day.
Yeah.
And my lunch break.
No, it's made it a much, it's weird new world we're in, it's made it much,
A lot of convenience. Definitely miss.
that's for the hybrid. Honestly, if I were like a New Orleans,
Go Eagles. What'd you say, go Eagles?
It's 8:10. We're going to wait for Bo to finally get into his chair, and then we'll go back into open.
You need Stephanie and Maria.
And we'll wait for Maria and Stephanie. Dan's excused, Kevin's excused. They're not going to get in trouble. Good night, guys. Everybody's ready? We're coming out of closed at 8:13. We're back in open. And I will take a motion to dismiss.
Motion.
Motion by Council President. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman McGowan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.